just going to show you a bit about sort of how to add simple sine waves. So first of all, let's make a oscillator. Let's give it a frequency, let's say, of 100 Hertz. Okay, now if we want to listen to that, we can do DAC, oops, and listen to like so. Might need headphones to be able to listen to that. Now, let's say instead of listening to it, I want to have a look at it. So there we go, and we put an array, and we tell it, well, we give it a name, we'll just give it that name. And then an array, let's do a little larger array, Bezier curve. Okay, so you can even, so if you do properties, you can see that it also has some canvas properties, so we could make it maybe like a, whoops, a little wider, a lot wider here, I guess. Okay. Here you go. Now, if we want to write to this array, we use an object called tab write tilde, and then we give it the name of the array. So I'll just call it array 1. We can then write this into this array, but it doesn't write yet. We need to bang to sort of record whatever comes in here, so it'll record equivalent to the length of the array here. So I'll just place a bang and tell it to write, and here you can see it's written an oscillator here, and you can see when I bang it, it depends on sort of where in the phase of the oscillator it is at the moment where I bang. Okay, so far so good. So let's say I'd like to have another oscillator in there. Oops. You can see that now the amplitude has doubled. Just move this upwards. Yeah, but let's say I want to have them do some interference here. Well, then I can set, remember here, I'll just do this, put number box. Remember here, I can set the frequency, right? Let's set that to a half. Let's see what happens. Yeah, I can even set the frequency of both of these guys at the same time. I can even do this, so I don't have to bang each time, so it's sort of automatically banged every time I change this guy. So you can see when I change that up, the frequency rises or lowers, right? Okay. So let's say I have these two oscillators. They have the same frequency, right? But I want them to maybe cancel each other out. Well, then I would have to shift the phase. So one of them, instead of it starting here and going like that, it should start down here, right? And then do this. So the phase should be shifted sort of half a whole phase. So let's see if I can do that. So I'll do no, I'll do a number box, and I'll just shift. So I'll hold down the shift key, and then let me just bang this while I'm doing it. So hold down the shift key, and you can see all sorts of things happen now where they begin to cancel each other out. Hitting 0.5 will not actually make them cancel out, and that's because this is going all the time. Every time I give this a number, it resets the phase. So if I want to be in total control here, I need to reset this phase to 0 while I'm resetting this phase to a half of a phase. So let me just show you how one could do that. So I could do 0 here, and then every time I well, just to make this very clear. So I'd like to set this to 0, and I'd like to trigger this resetting to 0 every time I sort of move this up and down. Okay, so instead I'm setting sort of the relative. So now every time I'm resetting the phase of this guy, or changing the phase, I'm resetting this to 0. So now they're sort of more in sync. You see that? Okay, you can see when I bring this to half, so this is half a cycle. that I've changed the phase by, and I can change that up to the whole cycle. Yeah, you see that? So in that way I can control them relatively to each other.